Don't mind if I do. Hey everybody, this is going to be a wrap up of the first 10 days of reading for Escape the Readathon. I was at Disney World for the first week, and so I still read quite a bit, but I didn't vlog or anything. I considered it, and then I was there, I even brought the camera, and I said, I'm just not in the mood, so I didn't. I decided to just be present with the family and enjoy my time and not really vlog much. I did get a little bit of a B-roll, and I'll stick that in here somewhere. But other than that, I just decided to hang out with the family. I did vlog myself running the Goofy Challenge in January at Disney, so if you want to go back and see that, you're welcome to. And I read Allie's favorites in that video, so a little plug for that video. You can go back and see that if you want to see some Disney content. Yeah, so I didn't really vlog very much. Had a great time with the family. It was a good trip. The first few days were actually really gorgeous, even chilly, you know, to swim. And that was great that we didn't have to be dying in the heat. We were the last few days, but other than that, it was great. And my daughter was so brave, and she rode everything. She even rode Tron, she rode Everest, she rode Tower of Terror, which my husband won't even go on because he doesn't like drops. And so I was very proud of her. Every single new ride she went on the new Guardians ride. And every single ride she went on, she was so nervous. She was like, I'm scared, I'm scared, I'm scared. I know. I said, I know, honey, but look at you. You're doing it. You're being so brave. You're still doing it. And you're scared. And that's bravery. And she's an anxious little bean. And so I'm very proud of her for, you know, getting out of her comfort zone, because it's not easy. It's not easy for adults to do. So I am very proud of her for taking the risk. And she ended up loving every single thing she went on. She had no complaints. So yeah, we had a great trip. There's a lot of memories attached to it. So I could go and not go to a single park and just be happy, because it's just a very nostalgic place now. I wouldn't recommend it. It's just gotten more and more expensive and more piecemeal, pay for this, pay for that. A lot of things that used to be included. So I wouldn't recommend it for other people, but it is our place. So we'll probably continue to go there. I am very proud of myself because I have not bitten my nails in like probably about a month, maybe 3 weeks. And I've actually been able to paint them, and I usually bite them all down to the nubs. I've been able to grow them out a couple times before, so I'm hoping this one sticks, but we will see. I'm trying to keep them painted so that I don't bite them. I haven't really felt the urge to bite them. Pick at them, sure, like if I'm nervy. Sometimes I don't even realize I'm doing it, so then I have to cut them down because they get all gross, but so far, so good. Anyway, I don't know if anyone cares about that, but I'm happy to be home. Got to see the pups. They're happy to see us. And yeah, so let me get to the books. Escape the Readathon is a team-based readathon where you have a team and you're trying to escape whatever it is. I think last year it was a cruise ship. This time it's a spaceship. And I am on the scientists team. And when we started, the prompt was to read a book that you borrowed, so a book that you did not pay for. And so I read a few books for that. The first one I read was Exiles by Mason Cole, and I got this one from the library. He also wrote William, which I thought was okay. I actually enjoyed this one quite a bit more. In this book, we are following a group, well, one in particular, but a group of astronauts who are going to Mars to be the first colonizers of Mars. And ahead of them, they had sent robots and AI to make this place for them to be and to live on, the space station or whatever. Immediately as they are approaching Mars, they are noticing that their communication has been cut off and they don't know what happened, but their mission is going to be to go there no matter what. The mission is the mission. They're going to go there and see what happens. And even if they die, they're, you know, that's the mission. They're going to land on Mars and be on Mars. And so they go onto Mars, just have to land somewhat blindly because the communication is cut off, and then they have to have only a certain amount of oxygen to be able to get into the space station, and then when they get to the space station, the passwords are changed, and so someone is sabotaging this mission, and we don't know who it is. Is it the robots? Is there some entity on Mars that we don't know? And so this is a story where the astronauts are paranoid and trying to figure out what's going on, and everything's going to hell in a handbasket, and what's going to happen. And the ending is interesting and weird, and I loved it. And so I ended up giving this a 4.5. It's a short one, and it's a quick read, and I really enjoyed it. And this was my very first book for the Readathon that I finished, and I quite liked it. The next one, this is not my library copy. I actually, I read this on audio through Libby. I'm trying to get through my Libby holds, and so I use that to complete the prompt. This is Cursed Daughters by Oyinkan Braithwaite, I think. So I'm going to try it again. Oyinkan Braithwaite. I think that's how she pronounced it. And the author is Nigerian British. She also wrote My Sister the Serial Killer, which I have but have not read yet. That is an even shorter one. And I got this through Book of the Month. I just love the cover. It's so gorgeous. And this follows several sisters / cousins. And in this family, there is a curse where the men leave. They don't stay and stick around and be part of their family. The men leave. There is a woman at the beginning of the story who passes away, and her cousin is pregnant, and she ends up giving birth the same day that they're supposed to bury the cousin. And so when she gives birth, she looks so much like the cousin that passed away that the mother's like, "This is my daughter reborn. She's come back to me," etc., etc. And slowly we find out the story behind why this woman died, and her cousin, her story with the man that she fathered this child from, and also the story of the mothers, the grandmothers, and their stories with this curse. And also just, the relationship and family traditions and turmoil of dealing with this curse that supposedly they have, and how each of them deals with the consequences of that. And also how this daughter, who looks so much like her family member and has had that put upon her, and her mom's so steadfast and say, like, no, she is her own person. Like, let's not treat her like that. And how she grows up and who she grows up to be. This is based in Nigeria and also Britain, as they go there for school at one point. And I really enjoyed this. There's, the differences between present or more modern Nigerian women versus Nigerian women who are looking towards the spiritual, and how they have differences of opinion and how they honor their ancestors, and how maybe they could break this family curse. There's lots of family drama in here, lots of messy dynamics with men and each other. It's just, I found it highly entertaining. I ended up giving this, I think, 4.5 or 5 stars. I definitely am excited to read My Sister the Serial Killer now. I really enjoyed this one for ages, like the highest mage in the land, and the other guards the king and queen in this case. And they really don't want to be doing that anymore. The queen is not very nice and is a corrupt leader, and they want to run away. So in the first book, they run away to a town. They open this tea and bookshop, and it was super cute, and I liked it a lot. And there's some dragons involved and some dragon eggs. The town keeps getting attacked by dragon fire, and they have to deal with that. And I thought the first one was really cute. I do have the second one as well, which I read, and I wasn't in love with that one. It's around here somewhere. And I didn't really like that one. I ended up giving it 2 stars. They were out on the sea and traveling, and I wanted them to get back in the town where, like, the cute characters had been set up. But then in this one, they are back in the town, also dealing again with this corrupt queen who they want to oust, and it's them planning to do that, and also getting married and planning their wedding. I thought this one was okay. I think I'm going to go with a 3-star for this one. And the characters are still super cute. I wanted more of the dragons. I wanted more of the consequences of that. There's also griffins in here, which is cute. This is cute. It's cozy. It's not my favorite cozy fantasy. It's not up there with Travis Baldree or Sarah Beth Durst, which I love. But it was a good time. I don't know if I'll read the 4th one. I feel like since the 4th is the last one, that maybe I will, just for the sake of completion, or at least give it a shot, because at the end of this, it does end in a cliffhanger. So I'm curious to see where that goes. And also it reminded me that I think Sarah Beth Durst's book in her Spell Stuff series is coming out called Sea of Charms. And I'm curious to see if I like that one, since I really didn't like the second one in this series, which was more of a pirate sea series. And so we'll just have to wait and see. All right, so I ended up submitting that one for Pages. I was on vacation and I didn't get to once we got in to, or tried to, got through the task in the next room, which was required, we had to hit a certain amount of pages as a team. Once we did that, then we got another prompt, and that prompt was your favorite tropes. And I didn't, I was away, and I definitely had books that would fit a trope that I could read, but I knew that the likelihood of me finishing a book quickly enough was probably not going to happen. So I started a book with one of my favorite tropes, and then I definitely didn't finish it. So I ended up submitting it 4 times. But the book I read for favorite tropes was The Ninth Reign. I want to come back to this one at the end because I have the most to say about this one. I'm very excited to have read this one. So I have a lot to say about it. And so I'm going to save this one till the end. But this is what I started for a book with one of your top 3 favorite tropes. And the trope was found family. I had heard that this had some good found family in it. It's a big chunky fantasy. And so I started this on the plane and because I ended up grabbing it on Kindle for 99 cents. And I read it throughout my vacation. And I also read a few other things a little bit at a time. And so, yeah, I loved this. I'm going to talk about it more in a second. I submitted, this was not for a specific prompt, but for pages. I think this was for the first room pages. This is Waif by Samantha Kolsnick. This is I wouldn't call it an extreme horror, but some people may call it an extreme horror. It wasn't extreme to me. I don't read a lot of extreme horror, but this one didn't shock me. This is about a woman who is in an unhappy marriage. She doesn't like her husband very much, and their sex life is inadequate in her eyes, and they don't really do that very often. And she meets this man, I think at a grocery store, and she sees him and she's like, wow, like that's what I want. He's my dream man. He's my dream crush. She becomes obsessed with him. And her and her husband, I think, get into a fight, and she's like, when I have sex with you, I'm imagining this man. Yeah, so the man decides to go to drastic measures to fulfill this desire for his wife. And yeah, it's not something that is normal. So it's weird, of course, and drastic. And they become embroiled in this world of seedy underbelly of backdoor plastic surgery, as well as really weird body mods, I guess you would call it, pornography and sex work, and also a lesbian gang that likes to kill men. There's a lot going on in this short little book. I think it's like 100 pages. And for me, there was just too much going on to really affect me in this short little book. I feel like the story with her husband and what was going on there could have been like its own story. And then, the story with her finding this lesbian gang that was killing men, like that could be its own story. And then this like sex trafficking, like sex ring, whatever it was that she ended up getting embroiled with as well, could have been like another story. And so, yeah, there's a lot going on in here. I ended up giving it a 3. I was entertained by it. I thought it was worth reading, but I did seek this copy out because it's not like readily available, because someone had recommended it and I don't remember who, and I don't really think I needed to seek this out. Like it wasn't so good that I needed to read it. However, it was interesting. Yeah, and I read it and I gave it 3 stars. Read Chuck Tingle Lucky Day for Pages. This is Chuck Tingle's newest book as well. And this is about a world in which one day all these weird things happen that aren't, all these random low probability things start happening, and kills a bunch of people, injures a bunch of people. I think they say like 8 million people in the world, most of them American, die in these weird, freakish, unlikely ways. And in this book, our main character is dealing with, Vera is her name, is a probability expert. And after this event happened, she experiences several losses and goes into a deep state of depression. And one day a government worker shows up on her door and says, hey, we need your help, because she wrote a book about probabilities. She's a probability expert, statistics and probability professor who wrote a book about this casino that they want to investigate. So they come to her and try to pull her out of this depression so that she can try to figure out what the heck happened, what's going on with this low probability event. Now, it's an absurdist horror, and our main character is bisexual, so there's like themes on like bi-erasure and stuff like that. Like her mom says that bisexuality doesn't exist. What do you mean you're going to marry a woman? This is just a phase. It doesn't exist. So there is some commentary on that in here, but mostly just an absurdist horror. It gets existential. There's some liminal space stuff in here. What's that word? Nihilist. It's a bit nihilist, but like in a, I forget what they call it, where it's like optimistic nihilism, where like nothing matters and we're all just specks in the universe. There is no meaning to life, but let's just have a good time. And if there's no meaning to life and all of it's nonsense, then don't take anything too seriously and just, you know, do what you want, essentially, as long as you're not hurting anyone. So there are themes of that in here. And I quite liked this. I think I gave it a 4.5, maybe a 5. I was being very generous lately with my 5 stars. If I read a book and I was like, yeah, that was cool, and I've been giving 5 stars, this didn't bother me one bit. I was along for the ride the entire time. I've had varying experiences with Chuck Tingle before. I've liked everything I've read. I haven't read any of his like erotica, but I have read his 2 other novels, Bury Your Gaze and Camp Damascus. I liked both of those, but this one was more my jam, and I gave it 5 stars. This is the only book of his that I own. The other 2 I got from the library, and I am very happy that I bought a copy of this. I wish I had the cool one with the sprayed edges and like the foiling on the hardback, but yeah, and some of this gets pretty gnarly. The deaths are interesting. There was one with a parade float and strings that ended up strangling everybody that is described in here. There's a monkey and a typewriter. There is a really gnarly scene with in a pool that I thought was really cool. And then the resolution of this goes in a direction that I don't think some people, I mean, people have said it in reviews, and I don't really want to say it just in case, you know, it's a spoiler in my opinion, and it might say in here, but yeah, it goes in a direction that not everybody will like, but I thought it was fine. I thought it was interesting, interesting things to think about and interesting experiences reading it, and I liked it. So there's that. I gave it 5 stars. I don't know if that's an unpopular opinion. Also, when I got back from vacation, because we got back on Friday, and this is everything I've read through the first day of the readathon through yesterday, and today is the 11th. So the first 10 days of the readathon, I listened to The Ballad of Black Tom and submitted this for pages as well. I also gave this 4.5, 5 stars. I really enjoyed this one. This is a retelling of who's that guy? That racist guy that wrote a bunch of stuff that people like. Oh my. Lovecraftian. I got it. Popped into my head. This is a retelling of a Lovecraftian story. I haven't read a lot of Lovecraft, mostly because I don't want to. I have read a few like stories. I've seen a few things. However, mostly the writing doesn't work for me. And so I haven't read a lot of his stuff other than seeing things inspired by the eldritch creatures and otherworldliness that his things were about. I hear that he was incredibly racist and sexist and anti-Semitic and all those lovely things that white dudes back then and today can be. And so this was interesting because The Ballad of Black Tom is written by a Black author, Victor Lavelle. And so Black Tom was written by a Black author, Victor Lavelle, and kind of turned some of the themes of the original story on its head. So in here we have Tommy Tester, which is like such kind of a cool name. And he is in New York City, right? Harlem? Yep. And he does sort of these backdoor deals with some of the rich people so yeah, he's doing like favors for some rich people in the city, and it has him stealing this book and delivering it to this rich white guy. And he kind of gets involved with this like black magic sort of thing. And he ends up turning into this character called Black Tom and getting revenge on the people that have caused him turmoil in his life, the police, this detective, some of the other rich people that he has, rich white guys that he has dealt with in the past. And I found it to be incredibly interesting. I really liked the horror elements in this and the magical fantastical elements of this as well. I liked the commentary. I really liked I mean, it's so short and I feel like so much happened in such a short amount of time. Underbelly rich man using minorities from around the world to try to discover new magics and bring about change, of course, to their benefit, and then having that turned on its head with Tommy Tester taking like control. I really liked this. It's short, but it's really good and I highly recommend it. I gave it 5 stars. There's probably a lot more to say about this. There's themes of police brutality in here and racism, of course, classism, even cultural appropriation in a way, as this rich guy's like inviting a bunch of people from different cultures into his life to try to, you know, have a meeting of the minds to see if they can figure out how to bring about what it is they're trying. I don't want to give anything away, what it is they're trying to bring about. Anyways, I really enjoyed that one. Oh wait, no, I forgot one book. I'm just going to mention it because I didn't love it. And just by looking at him by Ryan O'Connell, and I gave it 3 stars. It's a book about a queer man who has cerebral palsy, I believe, kind of dealing with the reality of that, being a gay man in the world. He's in a long-term relationship that he's kind of feeling lackluster about now. He gets addicted to going to see sex workers, and it's him coming to terms with how he feels about his alcohol consumption and his relationship and his cerebral palsy, and et cetera, et cetera. I thought it was entertaining. I did enjoy it. Good representation, of course, and it's very loud and funny. Yeah, I thought it was fine. I gave it 3 stars. It was a good read on audio on the plane when I didn't feel like reading anymore. Oh my gosh, you guys, this is so messy. I also read Fox 8. And this is like a super quick short story that I ended up giving 5 stars. It's 20 something pages, 21 pages. So it's super short. It's a short story. And it's from the point of view of a fox who has learned English and is writing to people, asking them why they are the way they are. It's just a sentimental story about a fox wondering what the heck's up with humans. And I liked it and I gave that 5 stars. But like I said, that was just a short 21-page story that I listened to on Libby. And then last, but very much not least, this was a big one. I submitted for Pages on Sunday. This is The Ninth Reign by Jen Williams. This is a completed trilogy, I believe. Winnowing trilogy, I think. For some reason, I don't see this around a ton. And I don't really see this one talked about a ton. I did find it on BookTube originally. I think Elliot Brooks pitched it in one of her videos. And I was like, that sounds really interesting and I want to read it. And then also the Talon Sister as well, that duology. And so I sought them out. I ordered the Talon Sister off of Blackwell's, but then I found this one at my local for used. And I was like, holy shamoly, $4? Don't mind if I do. Anyways, this is a high fantasy series, very accessible high fantasy series, in my opinion, after reading it. This is set in a world where every couple 300 years or so, this species from another planet, come in these ships of organic, alive, sort of metal, whatever, and they start attacking the people, and they're like bugs and spiders, and there are these little creepy crawly guys. There's these giant worms, and it's like a bug species, different kinds of bugs, and they also will go inside people and eat them from the inside out and then take over their body. It's just like really gnarly villains, and you know, these are the bad guys. I mean, at least in this first book, these are the bad guys. We know who the bad guys are. And it's these creepy guys that want to come down and like just destroy and devour this entire world, right? And in this world, there is this city of beings that are semi-immortal, and they drink this sap from this tree god that they have. And when the species comes down and wants to destroy the world, the tree will grow this beautiful silver fruit that will rain down and hatch into amazing war beasts. There's dragons, there's fox, like giant foxes and wolves and bears and, phoenix and all sorts of different cool war creatures. But after the 8th reign, the tree, after this enemy is beaten back, the tree dies and there is no more fruit and there's no more sap because the Aborans would drink the sap and that was what kept them young, kept them immortal, but there's no more sap. And so the Aborans are down on their luck. They can't get their tree god to regrow and revitalize. They have kind of become vampires, sucking the blood of people, but now it's making them sick. And so they don't know what the heck's going on with that. So in the beginning of this book, we're following Tor, who is one of these Aborans, and he leaves. He's like, there's no point in staying here. We're all going to die out and we can't figure out what's going on. So he leaves and he meets up with this woman named Vintage who's obsessed with the 9th reign or the 8th reign. Yeah, so she's obsessed with these enemies and trying to figure out what's going on, and she's kind of a historian. And throughout the book we get pieces of her letters and journals and observations, and you kind of get more of the world built through that, which was a nice way to learn about it. You get like little pieces at a time, but you learn a little bit more without the characters having to kind of just like throw it up at you or talk about it in a more inorganic way. So I liked that. So that he meets up with this human named Vintage, because there's also humans in this world. The Aborans would like use the beast to help beat back the enemy, and the humans, who were attacked by these creatures, were revered them until they started, sucking their blood. And so there's not very many Aborans left. I'm not explaining this very well. So Tor meets up with this gal named Vintage, and they go around. She hires him to help her go around to these artifacts. I forget what they call them, but the ships that have come down, it's left behind after one of these great wars. And, she wants to go around and study these pieces to see if she can learn more about this enemy and what happened. And also around when these things drop, they also attract these, I think they call them parasitic spirits that they end up having to fight. All very interesting. The world is just super interesting. And above all, that is what really hooked me with this one. There's also a character. So that's Tor and Vintage are the two mains. And then the third one is a girl named Noon. She has been imprisoned in this place called the Witchery since she was an 11-year-old child because she was found to be a witch. So she can, and the witches in this world, they can drain energy from plants and living things and then create fire with their hands, this special fire. And there is this organization that has decided they're all corrupt, they're a blight on the world, they're evil, they kill people, they can't control themselves, they're monsters. And so they are gathered up once they're found to exist and brought to the Witchery and forced to be imprisoned there until they can maybe control themselves, and then they're forced to work for the Witchery, in which they do various things around the land, including finding other fell witches, is what they call them, and bringing them in to be imprisoned. So it's just an incredibly interesting world. So all three of them, she ends up finding a way out. She's just trying to escape. There's cool bats that they get to ride on, and as an aside, and they all end up meeting up and getting involved with each other. Yeah, it's just incredibly interesting. I loved the world. I loved the characters. There's like a tiny bit of a love story in here. It's not the main point at all. One of the relationships that is developing in here is Sapphic, which was cool. And I just love the animals, and the world is just super interesting. Like, I could have read about that all day. I could read a history book about this world, no problem. It was so interesting and rich and different, and I really, really, really loved it. So I might get the next two and vlog me reading those, because I didn't get to vlog and my reactions to this, and I just loved it so much. I ended up giving it 5 stars, and I'm so excited to get to the other ones. Ugh. And I didn't even tell you about like so many other things that like these creatures, the bad guys, what do they call them? The Jurali or something like that, do when they come down. Like, it's so brutal and gross, like something definitely out of a nightmare. This is not like normal war. This is like nightmare. nightmare fuel, right? Very interesting. Loved this world, and I'm very excited to read the next one. I think I'm going to do that probably fairly soon, so I don't forget what happened in the first one. So that is what I read for the first 10 days of Escape the Readathon. Let me see how many pages I read. So for the first 10 days, I read 8 books, 2,283 pages. So that will be it for that. I'm sorry for the convoluted messiness of this video. Hopefully I can edit it down into something, oh my Lord, my brain. I can't think of words anymore. Words are leaving my brain as fast as I can think about them. Hopefully I can edit this down into something consumable and somewhat enjoyable for you. We will see. So that, I think that was a pretty successful first week of Escape the Readathon. We're still, well, I haven't checked in a few hours, but we're still on our second room and we're trying to like get through the pages, right? So we're still on pages. We haven't gotten our third prompt yet. I want our third prompt because I need to know what to read next. I'm currently reading and listening to at the same time Japanese Gothic. I'm enjoying that so far. That'll be the first book I read in the next vlog. I'm trying to vlog this next week what I'm reading. And hopefully I'm more in the mood to be in front of the camera then. Thank you. I'll see you next time. Bye. Have a good day.